All right, hello everyone. We are live with another XGR. Thank you. And as always, we will start with the news for this week, and then the catch-up section where we talk about two of the games that we've played, and then on to the topic, which this week is on the drum roll. Okay, stupid misconceptions. Oh, thank you. Stupid misconceptions that gamers come up with. Some of the more recent ones. So. Anyone want to kick it off with their news? One of their newses?
I'll go first with my small news. Small news. Sony has revealed details on Batman Arkham Knight's PS4 exclusive content, the Scarecrow Nightmare Pack. The add-on will reintroduce the Batman Arkham Asylum villain after his absence from Arkham City. It says Gotham falls victim to Scarecrow's fear toxin, transforming his famous city into a twisted, hellish nightmare in the Batman Arkham Knight Scarecrow Pack. A description on PlayStation.com also reads, tear through the city in the all-new Batmobile and face off against the towering vision of Scarecrow and his undead army as they spread terror on the streets. Available exclusively on PS4. So my guess is, hopefully that's not just a challenge map involving the Batmobile, because the Batmobile's there, I'm actually hoping it's story shit, I really am.
Should be. Let's hope.
Yay!
Okay. Did you want to go next, Stacy?
Yeah, how did you know?
Guess.
Okay, which one should I do first? They're both equal, I guess this one because it's okay. This news is my mini news. And Zelda may or may not be a queen. It says, that according to, producer Hayashi.
And spoiler, Link may or may not be a queen too. Ganondorf may or may not be a queen.
Yeah. Princess Zelda is actually Queen Zelda. She has an army as a queen would, and Link is a trainee, but as the story unfolds, the relationship between the two greatly change. Now, I think they're still calling her Princess Zelda because that's her name, even though Princess is technically a title.
Zelda is her name. Princess is a title.
I don't know. I kind of feel like her first name on her birth certificate may actually be Princess, and Zelda is just her last name. That's why there's all the Zelda.
She's related
that's
to.
Why when, I was going to say that's why when she was a little girl in like Skyward Sword and other ones, when you've seen her younger and her dad only calls her Zelda, it's because he's like, fuck it, I'll just call her last name.
Hey, in Harry Potter, everyone yelled at each other by their last names.
Not relatives.
If you didn't like them very much, they might.
No, because you only call someone by their last name if it's like a friend of yours. Like, I may refer to Rick as Hammer.
Oh, that's because he's the hammer, like the god of hammers.
God of hammers.
But what were you going to say, Rick?
I was going to say that maybe she's related to the Square Enix version of King Triton, where I guess that's his name.
Oh, yeah, because Ariel's not a princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know Alice is.
Or she could be acting princess or princess just for this, or queen just for this game. So she wants to keep her name as princess, and queen is just a meaningless title she's throwing out. But she has all the abilities of a queen. I don't know. But maybe she's a queen, maybe she's not. Either way, she's gonna be awesome. So.
Yep. It's like I said, I saw the other description where they were describing her as the Hyrulean version of Xena, because they were saying they're both warrior princesses, and you see them like you see her like on the field kicking ass, and I'm like, nice.
Yeah, that's Zelda gameplay. She looked really cool.
Yeah.
So did Impa though.
Yeah, I love Impa's character model there.
So I believe I'd be over to Richter for the sports.
Yep. First up now, This was announced a little bit ago, but I thought it was funny, so I wanted to mention it. Atlas is publishing a game called Rollers of the Realm, which is a pinball slash RPG mashup.
What?
Yes. It's going to be on the PS4 and Vita platforms, and it's it's also going to be released for PC, and that's supposed to be around holiday season. But considering that was it Puzzle Quest matched Bejeweled and RPGs, I actually think that pinball RPG could work, and I actually want to try that because I think that could be really cool.
It sounds like it could be cool, or it sounds like it could be just weird.
Yeah.
Like Sonic's pinball of let's mash Sonic with pinball.
Yeah, hopefully it's good and not like what was that game? Odama on the GameCube, where it was like pinball but voice commands. So like you fought armies with a pinball, and it was. I never actually got around to trying it, but it wasn't very good because it didn't respond very well.
You're blowing my mind with this craziness right now.
Oh, so what
I
you're
know.
saying is that's another thing Microsoft stole from Nintendo? The voice commands didn't work.
Which wouldn't they have stole that from Sega? Because didn't they have the microphone for the Dreamcast
Probably, yeah.
for that game Seaman or whatever it was called?
But Nintendo also had it on the N64 for Hey You Pikachu.
That's true. Did anyone
Oh,
actually
that's
play that?
fucking annoying. With that, no.
I knew someone that had a Japanese version. I did try it once, and it was literally like, because it was Japanese, it didn't understand in English. It was like, Pikachu, run! And it was just, Pika? And tilts his head. Okay, that's kind of cool. Pikachu, jump. Pika? It's like, that's great. It's like talking to Jim or Stacy. It's like they almost understand, but then just a word comes out that just makes no sense to the context of the sentence.
It's not quite like talking to Jim because Pikachu would respond after you said something.
Yeah. He wouldn't just reply with what Richter had said 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to make a gym simulator now where you just talk to it and it'll just repeat what you said like a couple minutes later. Is this working? He's not responding. No, that's fine. That's as intended.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Wouldn't the gym simulator be Metal Gear Solid 4, as it just wanted to tell you the story more than letting you play it?
Yes. I
But
would that's what we need for a video series is Jim explains it, where he tries to explain the plots of like convoluted games like the Metal Gear Solid series.
Now I want to get like the craziest art house movies, the ones that are like, no, you don't understand it. I'm gonna get him to explain those because it'll be funny. You're not supposed to know what's going on.
as
It's
long
like
as
that
no one
movie
asks him to explain Jack and Daxter, I'm fine.
Well, you see this one part. Oh, I forgot to mention that when he gets a helicopter, and you're
Yeah. But yeah, my big news.
Yeah.
Platinum Games is developing The Legend of Korra, a third-person combat game based on the Nickelodeon TV show.
Woo!
It's also worth mentioning Platinum Games also made a little game called Metal Gear Rising, but they also made a decent game with Bayonetta 2.
Yay.
And I'm kidding, because I know people like Metal Gear Rising. But Metal Gear Rising and Bayonetta 2, or Bayonetta and shit, they're actually pretty fun. I could totally see that matching with Legend of Korra. And I guarantee you it'll be a lot better than the fucking THQ Avatar games. There's also isn't there also a turn-based DS game coming out too?
Yes.
I do not know.
Which means the Bayonetta 2 version will launch on PC, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, and PS3. Weird, there's no Wii U mentioned, but still. I mean, they're making Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
They kind of have the development kit. We know this.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, and you can't even use like a normal gamer argument of like, oh, it wouldn't, be as powerful, but it's on the 360 and the PS3.
Yeah.
So it should be able to easily be on the Wii U.
Yep. But they've said players will use the avatar's fire, earth, and water elements in combat to fight familiar enemies such as mecha tanks and chi blocks, as well as other benders in 3-on-3 pro bending arena.
Interesting.
Which that does sound cool, and I know Richter will probably want to check out the turn-based strategy RPG on DS because That seems right up Victor's alley.
Yeah, that does sound cool. Well, they both actually sound pretty cool.
No, you can only have one.
Oh,
Only one.
no, bad Richter.
No soup for you.
Swap me with a
Yeah.
rolled up newspaper.
Wet
Yeah.
noodle.
Only one, Rick. I'm kidding. You're allowed two.
Oh,
You can have both the 360 and PS3.
yay!
But no, that was my big news. So over to Stacy in the sky.
I'm in the sky now. Yay! I'm finally tall. Woohoo!
No, you're the traffic reporter in a helicopter.
I'm still higher up than you.
No, I'm in heaven.
I'm still high.
Wait, when did you turn into Jeff Hardy?
I don't know.
Okay, when did
My
you
house
turn?
burned down and my dog died.
Nice. An origin story.
Alright, so big news is Rainbow Six Siege. You can totally have like male and female hostages, so it's not going to be like sexist as it was a claim. Fuck.
As
Ice
it was
cream truck.
claiming to be. But no, I think the idea of male and female hostages is cool. I'm glad it wasn't just one sex that was a hostage. I'm also hoping there's different races too. Although
But that would cost like
admittedly,
$1 million.
Alright.
admittedly, you could take that out of context really racist if they do different races as well. Because I'm sorry,
Yeah.
a black guy in a building and a whole team of white guys storms the building and grabs him. That's gonna appear racist.
I know, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Hopefully the hostages will be like a little like smarter too. I'm like thinking, remember you we were playing a Payday and you had that one hostage who was like, get down, and that one guy was like, no, I'm just gonna lean against this window here.
So I shot him.
Yeah.
He never leaned against that window again.
Oh, he permanently leaned against that window. And on the floor, and on the cash machine.
Gonna use the ATM, regular day business when you rob the place. So if they're doing stuff with the AI and like hostage and stuff, maybe they'll act a little more realistic too. Maybe that'd be cool. So that was my
As
big
long as
news.
they listen to commands.
They should also
They just run away, and you're like, no, get back here.
Yep, I also have a new feature in mind for Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm.
Voice command for Xbox One and PS4 using the headsets or the Kinect or the cameras or whatever you want to use. And let's make it so you can have an extra person join to spectate and they can voice the hostages.
That would be cool.
That would just be taking the piss, because I'm sorry, if you're kidnapping someone, they're just like, wait, what are you doing? Unhand me now, unhand me, or just trolling you, you know it's going to be a case of, no, fine, boom, shoot them.
That would be so funny.
Guys, I'm down here. There's like 3 of them in the room with me. Do not come in, go through the ceiling. So then you come through the ceiling and get shot. It's like they knew what I said.
I would kidnap Jeff so many times, it wouldn't even be funny. Well, it would be funny to me. God damn it, I got kidnapped again. Do you know who kidnapped me? I don't even know. Ah. No, I got kidnapped too. I don't know who kidnapped us. Yeah.
Would you kidnap him and dress him like Captain Toad?
Yes. just for you, so you could attack him even more.
Yeah. But what is your big news, Rick?
All right, my big news is they have announced the July PlayStation Plus lineup. So the 2 PS4 games that will be free for members next month are Towerfall Ascension and Strider, which looks pretty cool. PS3 games are Dead Space 3 and Vessel. And the Vita games are Muramasa Rebirth and Doki Doki Universe. And those... Oh.
It's also worth pointing out, in Europe, the first... Unless you were going to take that.
I was going to mention that, yes.
Ah, okay, I wasn't sure if you just saw the American one. You go.
Yeah, those are for the U.S., and for Europe, they get 5 of the same, but they do not get Muramasa Rebirth because they already had that, so they get Lego Batman 2.
Batman! Woo! I did like Lego Batman.
Yeah.
What do you mean,
Yeah,
Batman?
I will say that's something I've been disappointed in recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I've mentioned that before. I don't like the PlayStation 4 Plus games. When are we going to get to the point where they give us knack and shit? And I just say knack because I remember that being a launch title because I actually had that. But
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that as like a launch title. Like, where's the knacks? Where's the kill zones instead of badly pixelated games like the one of them was? And Strider looked okay, but that's not to the same caliber of games as
No.
PS3
Yeah.
gets.
They're definitely downloadable games where Dead Space 3, while supposedly not that great, is at least a disc one. I'm pretty sure Vessel was a downloadable one. So.
You're a download one.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it looks like there were 2 games that were actually on a physical release, and the rest look all like downloads. But
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna think that it's probably a few months out, but I imagine that they will run out of downloadable PS4 games at some point, unless they release like 30 of them in the next
Is it
2 months.
is it wrong? I'm tempted to go on their webpage and click the download thing for the Doki Doki Universe and Lego Batman 2, ready for when Vita TV comes out.
You
So I
should.
have
I'd
Vita
do it.
games. But I
I'd
don't know
do
if
it.
that counts or not, if it just
Yeah.
streams.
Oh, I don't know. You
It's
might as
meant
well
to
grab
be
them
on
anyway.
PlayStation Now, so I wasn't sure.
It should work for Vita TV because I believe it downloads them onto the Vita card that it comes with, or that you can put in.
Ah, nice.
What is Doki Doki?
I don't know, it just looked fun. It looked, from the pictures, it looked sort of like Scribble Notes, but instead of typing, you play.
Yeah, it looks like it's, I don't know, maybe a puzzle game?
It looked like a puzzle platformer from what I saw. I haven't played much of it, but hopefully other people have. Hey, if you know what Doki Doki Universe is and your name isn't James Phoenix, please leave us the description below.
And if you're that other Jim who likes to make Wikipedia stuff who happens to live in England, please let me know because I've been stalking you secretly to find your true identity. Because your identical twin is here in America. Please come collect him.
Nobody knows who that is.
Please come collect him.
Jim's twin who lives near you.
Yeah, but like I said, no one knows who that is because that was just something from your real life that you hadn't mentioned on air.
But he needs to find this Jim and take him away.
All right, so let us go to the catch-up section where we talk about what games we've played, or up to 2 games that we've played last week. So feel free to jump in, anyone.
I've played 1 game this week.
Mm-hmm.
Murdered Soul Suspect. And I've completed it too.
Oh.
Yay!
So, yeah, because it's all story driven and stuff. I didn't manage to get every single one of the collectibles and stuff, but I know some people would think I wouldn't have tried. I did get over 100 of them. And there's like 173. I did get most of them, if that makes sense.
Nice.
I just couldn't find a couple. I was like, no, I'll just go to the final then. But it was pretty good. I loved the story. I loved the characters. It has plot twists in there that I did not see coming. Other people may, I don't know. But I try not to give away anything to do with the story. But the gameplay is pretty simple and fun. If you walk up to stuff, you press like square to interact, or R1 or R2 or something, whatever it tells you to do. Like to kill demons, you keep your finger on R2, and then you press like left and circle quickly, and it'll kill them and stuff. Overall, it's basically what would happen if Heavy Rain and Monkey Island had a love child. It'd be this. And I like that. I like the point-and-click adventure games, and it's a pretty fun story.
It looked very fun while you were playing it, so I want to try it for myself.
It did look pretty cool.
Cool. That was the only game I played this week.
About how long did it take you to complete? Just curious.
I think in total it was about 9-10 hours-ish. I'm looking at around that mark.
Okay.
It may be longer for some people or shorter for others. Because part of the reason at the length for me was the ability to find the collectibles. So some of the ones I hadn't found, I had to look for more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, because I went anal on some places looking for the ghost guns.
Ghost guns, double dash.
Yeah, now they weren't actually ghost guns, Rick. It's like, and this isn't a spoiler, when you're in the police station,
Mhm.
there's like shotguns that are like memories, which is how some of the
Oh,
collectibles are, and you have to reveal them, and they look like ghost shotguns. When you've collected all of them in that one particular area, you get a new, like a picture comes up, and then like audio over the top of the picture, telling, like giving you a little side story, which some of them work really well. Like in the museum, there's a part where there's like ghosts walking around that you can talk to, and you talk to one of the ghosts nearby, and he's looking at this train. He's like, I wonder why we crashed that night. I can never understand. Why did we crash? And if you actually find all the collectibles in the museum, you actually get the backstory with the crash. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. It kind of just it doesn't add anything in terms of the main story, but it doesn't take anything away either.
yeah.
They're kind of cool finding out these little side stories. I like them.
That's cool.
Pretty cool game. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Yay!
What did you play this week, Stacy?
I played Assassin's Creed 4. And what I did was actually I did a whole lot of whaling and like shark catching, and because I don't know if like they're separate verbs.
Oh,
Sea
okay.
creature catching.
You're
And
doing a lot of whaling. Why were you sad?
ha 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 ha! You're so funny. Ha.
Thank you, thank you.
The thing is, I found it really interesting how realistic it is when you like kill the animals, and not like animals like land animals because that's not really realistic. But when you like harpoon whales and stuff, you see all the freaking harpoons on them, and you see like they're all bloodied up and like blood's coming out of them, and their scars, and the harpoons are in them, and they're like really fucked up by the time you get them, and it looks like it like I don't like looking at it. It looks like really realistic, and it looks like oh my god, like oh I could see like it looks
Uh,
disgusting.
Fish don't bleed.
They totally bleed.
Have you ever ate a fish, like a fish stick or fish and
Hey, these
chips,
are
cut
whales
into it
and
and blood
sharks.
will come out?
These are whales and sharks, and they do bleed.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that. But anyway, like it's really graphic, you know, and it actually makes you like feel bad that you're killing this, but you need it to like make shit. So I like that. It's like both a good, I guess, a bad thing if you don't like that. But I like it because these like historically anyway, these animals almost went extinct because of how much people over like hunted them and stuff. So
Yeah,
it makes you feel
as
bad.
long as it doesn't encourage whaling and stuff.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, because like I said, you legitimately feel bad when you see all like the bloody guts and scars and like 6 billion fucking harpoon poons popping out of it. You feel really kind of bad, and it looks really
I,
fucking gnarly.
I'd say you don't feel that bad because when you were playing it and you were talking to us on Skype, you literally said the sentence, "Oh, I can go over there and kill a whale. Oh, I can kill a shark. Oh, which one should I kill? I want to kill them. I want to kill them. I want to kill them." And then you went to one of them, and it's like you wouldn't feel that bad if your next instinct is, "Oh, I want to kill another." That's not
Well, I do
guilt.
feel bad, but I don't feel that bad because it's a game, and I feel slightly better because they make me feel bad. So I feel better because I feel bad. If that makes sense.
No. No, no, it doesn't make sense. But okay.
Okay. I just like how realistic it is. Like they're not like sugarcoating it, Like oh, you can hunt all the animals and they magically skin themselves and like you get this stuff. No, you actually have to do it and like yourself.
Mm.
It's like when my sister like thought hamburgers came from trees because she didn't know they actually came from cows because she never like actually seen where we get our food and stuff. You can choose you like the whole process of hunting the animal, skinning it, and that's cool.
Mm.
So I really enjoyed that extra little details.
Cool, cool. What else have you played?
I don't think I really played anything else.
Okay, then Rick.
All right. Two of the games I played this week. I played some more Ragnarok Odyssey Ace, and no, don't play that game. Like it was fine in the beginning, but the farther I went, the worse that game got. So just no.
Was it worse in quality, or was it like Skyrim on PS3 when it first came out, where the more you played, the more broken the saves were, so the more glitches you'd get?
No, it wasn't so much that. It's just they don't properly balance the difficulty at all. So like in the beginning, it's dead easy. You can just smash your way through. And then when you get farther along, the enemies' attacks are just like ridiculously just fucking cheap.
Oh
Because
god,
there's this, hmm?
I said, oh god, why does that remind me of when we were playing Fuse and like Fuse and we killed a room and it was like really easy and suddenly boom, loads of max. It's like what the fuck? I think it was Fuse where it was the difficulty was like what the fuck?
Yeah, for the escalation, there's only 12 waves, so it's like, wave 1's not that bad, wave 2, okay, and then it's like, guy in a mech suit, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, well, there's this one boss, he's named Grendel, you know, obviously after the mythological creature, and he's like a giant monkey, and he has this attack where he'll beat his chest, and, like, I assume it's sweat, just flies out all over the place, and it doesn't do much damage, but it'll stun you. And then after he does that, he'll jump up and do a giant body splash. Now the problem is the sweat will target you, so even if you're all the way across the map, you know, I'd estimate, you know, 300 feet away, and it will still hit you. And if he hits you with it and decides to splash you, like in the later stages, you're just flat out dead. Like it does so much that it doesn't matter how much health you have, you just die. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. You know, and it's not like
sounds stupid.
well, it's not like Monster Hunter where you can get better equipment, because the equipment you can get better stuff, but it's like none of the armor is actual armor, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't actually boost your defense. It just has slots where you can put cards into it to do it. So like you get like defense on your person, but it only increases after you complete a chapter. So there's not like even different. You can play around a little bit with different sets, but you're not going to really get more health, you know, not much more health or defense, so it pretty much will just flat out kill you. And it's like, well, I have to be near him to hit him, and the sweat hits a huge area, but even if I'm really far away, he can still hit. Like he's targeting with sweat flying off of his body, and that's like ridiculous.
Yep.
But anyway, next game I played was Blood of the Werewolf on Xbox Live Arcade. It's a pretty cool game. It's like just a lot like an old school platforming game. There's basically two modes, I guess. Not really modes, but you know, like you play as so for some parts of the stage you play as Serena, that's her name, and she has like a crossbow. And then some parts of the stage she'll automatically turn into a werewolf form, which can double jump, and it has like a stronger attack and stuff. And it's pretty cool so far. And you also fight classic movie monster villains. So like you fight the creature, you fight Jekyll and Hyde, Dracula, the Mummy, and stuff.
When you say old school platformer, do you mean like 2.5D or 2D?
Like 2D, yes. I mean the graphics are in 3D, but it's very much akin to like Ninja Gaiden on the original Nintendo. So it's punishing in a lot of ways, where you're like jumping and then you go over to a part and it's like, oh look, here's an enemy that hits you, and you fly back. You don't fall down in pits very often, but you know, there's a lot of like, there's a thing just beyond the screen where when you're jumping, it's like, oh look here, you're supposed to know this is here, and you're like, I didn't know that was there.
When you said the name of the thing, you said the 2D platforming thing, I was thinking, oh, what the hell was that game on Mega Drive? Was it Alter Beast or something, where you had like a little like dog with you that could go forward and attack enemies and shit?
Shinobi?
It might have been one of the Shinobis.
Yeah, Shinobi, he had a wolf that you could, and he would like.
So yeah, I must be thinking of one of the Shinobis. Yeah, I loved that, where you had like the wolf and it was like boom, and it attacked people. That was awesome.
That would be nice. No, you actually become the wolf, since she is.
You are the wolf.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird, because sometimes it's really fun, but sometimes it's frustrating. Not like break your controller frustrating, just kind of like put your head in your hands, like why. And if anyone has played the old Castlevania games, they put bats in this that have the same exact flight pattern as those fucking Medusa heads. And if you've played Castlevania, you know that the Medusa heads are the biggest fucking bane of anything in platforming history because they do that like where they go up and down while they go forward, and it's like the worst. They had to have, not for this game but for the like Castlevania, they had to have done mathematics to figure out what's the most annoying pattern it could do that's still predictable, and it'd be that. And they had these bats doing that, and I was like, I'm on the screen.
I will disagree. The bane of any platforming game is still Battletoads sewers.
Probably
Okay,
not like
the
that.
part we are. Okay, the biggest bane that's actually still possible. I don't believe anyone can beat Battletoads Stage 3 without cheating. I do not to this day. But yeah, but I don't know. It's actually pretty fun. Just definitely.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it has points where it's really frustrating and it seems like random. Like this is one part. It's in like stage 2 where you're going along the stage fine, and then there's a part where it's like crazy ass pistons where it's like, okay, you gotta run because otherwise the pistons will just kill you, and it's like, oh, this seems random. It's just like all the way at the end they're just like, oh, and here's a part that'll make you scream, and I'm like, that's kind of mean, but okay.
Nice. Is that exclusive to the 360 or is that also on PSN?
It's on PC. I believe there's a PSN version coming.
Ooh. So it's a recent game.
They have a date. Yeah. It came out I think half a year ago on PC, and it's coming to consoles. I just think Xbox. I think they just ported it to there first, but
makes sense.
Yeah.
I may have to get that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I think it came out like $8 or something. It was a little cheaper than I thought it'd be. It's kind of short, but there's that standard, you can do the stage but try to get a score instead, and so there's extra stuff to do in it so far, but it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So now, excuse me, on to the discussion topic. And as mentioned before, it's stupid misconceptions gamers come up with. And I believe the one excuse me, that Mole mentioned before we recorded that he definitely wanted to cover was when people talk about the next gen systems, although they are current gen, and then they're always just like, oh, but the Wii U, that's not next gen. And you're like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's not a power benchmark.
Yeah, where everyone's like, yeah, it's not next gen. Look, it doesn't look like Xbox One or PS4, and it's like, it doesn't have to. It's the next gen because it's the next generation of their consoles. That's all that means. Nintendo could release a new console that looks like a NES, and it'd still be next gen.
Yeah, like I understand where they come from with that, but at the same time, like, no, you should realize what you're saying before you say it. There's no like power benchmark, like, oh, it can only be next gen if it meets these specs. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
They'd be like, sorry, your kids don't count as the next generation unless they're this tall, and you're like, what? Unless they can lift this.
Oh my god, we were just talking about that and work with Generation X and Generation Millennium or whatever.
Uh-huh.
About which generation you are. He's like, I don't want to be Generation Millennium, I'm Generation X. And I'm like, well, it's not based on which one you want to be in, it's kind of a year.
Yeah, I think I fell in the middle of, like, right on the cut-off point between two of the generations, so I had to get to pick.
Yay!
Because when they listed the two generations, I was reading what they were. It said one of them ended on this particular month, and the other one began on that particular month. So they were both literally on the same on the month of my birth, which means I got to pick.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Choices. Because if there's one thing we're about here at the X Band, it's pro-choice. And now, another misconception I want to throw out is one I mentioned to you as well at the beginning, was I've been watching live streams all today about the new Transformers that's coming out on Friday, so I'm planning to get that game out. I'm pretty excited for it.
Oh, it comes out Friday for it. Okay.
Yeah, it came out yesterday for you, Tuesday, and it comes out Friday in the UK, but
yeah, I was like, Friday. Oh, did you buy that? I was like, oh, it's already Tuesday there, so yeah, he probably did, and I forgot that you get them on Friday.
Yeah, we got our games on a Friday, but yeah, it was a case of I was watching the live stream just to see what it was like, and it does look awesome. Some of the people were like, oh, so it doesn't have multiplayer, and the people streaming it mentioned Well, it has. No, it doesn't have multiplayer. It only has escalation mode, is what some people were saying in the chat rooms and stuff. It's like, no, escalation is a multiplayer mode. I understand you meant does it have PvP multiplayer? That's what you should have asked. Because multiplayer is not deathmatch. Multiplayer is any form of game in which there is multiple people playing with you.
It's kind of multiple players.
Yeah.
With multiple.
It's like Payday. Let's say Payday, for example, is as much multiplayer as Call of Duty Deathmatch. Or New Super Mario Brothers is as much of a fucking multiplayer as, say, fucking League of Legends. Admittedly, League of Legends is only multiplayer, but I was using those as examples.
Yeah. That's both multiplayers. What would they call it? Like, well, it has multiplayer, but it doesn't. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of weird how that multiplayer has become synonymous with competitive multiplayer when, yes, working together is also multiplayer. But okay.
Yeah. I prefer co-op. Personally, I prefer co-op, but I understand people like competitive. It's just not the only form.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of that, like, my way or nothing kind of mentality. Like, oh, why even bother having co-op? Like, because it's still multiplayer, but okay.
And I'll be honest, I prefer Escalation to Verse.
Escalation's really fun.
Yes, and it looks awesome on this. On the new Transformers, Rick, 40 plus Transformers you can pick from on both sides, and apparently you think you can mix and match.
Nice.
And that includes, you can have like Movie Optimus, Fall of Cybertron Optimus, G1 Optimus, a shitload of Bumblebee, Constructicons, Stunticons, Predacons, fucking Dinobots. Yeah.
What about Zombies?
That game.
What was that?
I think Zombies
sold another copy. I heard Constructicons, and instantly I was like,
Yeah, I think they said Constructicons. Now, it doesn't mean you can combine with me. It's not like
but still, that'd be awesome to play as them.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction. Well, I heard for Escalation that, this is just an offhanded comment I read, that you can actually, besides picking who you are, you can change your loadout of that person.
You can change your loadout.
Nice.
You can unlock new weapons for them. Apparently, each class or each character does have some unique features, which is kind of cool. The part that now the only downside is how you unlock people. When you level up and you collect certain lock gearboxes, they're calling them.
Okay.
They give you weapons, abilities, boosts, and characters, but it's random which ones are in there. So you might not get your favorite until you've done it a shitload. But I'm not against that, because that's a shit ton of replay. Because I'm gonna keep replaying until I get Starscream.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'd of course want Soundwave. Oh, there you go. And then Marcus.
Do the Soundwave voice.
I'm not very good at it, but Operation Unlock this stuff. Yeah, that's the best thing.
So you're supposed to be like an internet nerd. You're supposed to be good at the Soundwave voice. I mean, Stephen Hawking isn't even a nerd, and he can do the voice.
That's true.
Is that a no to the zombie bot?
Yeah, but I realize this is turning into a Transformer discussion. But yeah, like I said, I like the idea of that, and like I said, it looked pretty fucking awesome. It made me, watching people play it, hyped me up for it a lot more. But how about you, Stacey? Any misconceptions in recent years that you can think of?
Yeah, I would say outdated news. I know you were on about like the whole like Xbox One crap or whatever, but now like I don't know. I just feel like my friend. I always try to convince my friend's parents to get him the newest game system or whatever. But he's like, you already have one like Nintendo. Why do you need another one? You know. And I hate I'm sorry, but like some people really out of touch like think they're all like exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like really terrible.
And I will interject, the Xbox crap, as she put it, was the fact as me and Richter have mentioned, the Xbox One does look fucking awesome, and people keep going, oh, it's got this, or oh, it still does that. No, it doesn't. They fixed those. They fixed those
Yeah.
mistakes.
Like, people, like, don't recognize, like, hey, have you been updated? You heard one thing once, and, like, you didn't follow up on it, did you?
Yeah. And
Even like with EA, they do that too. Where they're like, "Oh, don't they suck?" And like that was a couple years ago. They're okay now.
yeah, I
They
will say
still have
since
steps, but they're not like the worst thing ever.
no, since they've replaced the person in charge and they've actually made an effort, some of their stuff's been good. I've admitted EA's playable. I mean, they're pretty
Yeah.
good, and they do have some series that are pretty good.
Mass Effect, Dragon Age.
Yep, and of course, looking forward to Battlefield Hardlines. Woo!
Yay.
Woo!
And some people like The Sims too.
I do like The Sims.
A surprising amount of people. Like,
That is true. I mean, I don't like The Sims, but, like, my sister pretty much uses it just to make, like, houses.
I'm just gonna say to you, Rick, choose your next words carefully, Persia.
I just always thought, well, like I played the game and I was like, this is okay, but like I've met people that just like love that game and I never would have suspected that they played it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, a lot of people. Well, I know it was like big and famous, but there are people that I didn't think actually played it. They were like, no, those games are awesome, I love them, and I'm like, oh, did not know that.
Yep, I love The Sims. It's probably my favorite PC game. But I do love The Sims with the, like, building houses, torturing people, and like building elaborate traps and sim. It's basically Jigsaw the game. Where I'm the guy from Saw, making my people suffer. Because like, oh, fire, waving the hands. I'm like, okay, you officially reached Stacy levels of dumb. You don't deserve to live anymore. At least that's what I imagine. If Stacy ever gets a fire in her house, I just imagine her waving her arms back and forth, like a sim.
That's yeah.
I've had burned things before, like in the
Wait.
kitchen, and
Wait, what's that? My phone didn't go off to give me a reminder to pee. Oh, wets herself and then collapses to the floor asleep.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, Stacey. You're not that bad, but I do look like even the stupidity of The Sims is pretty fun.
It is.
True.
A misconception I'm going to throw out there because I know a lot of people here will probably. I'm probably the only one here who will probably throw this out, but Sonic doesn't make good games anymore.
He's had a few good ones, like, you know, like.
Yeah, but I'm throwing that one out because Generations was pretty damn good. Colors was fucking awesome. Lost World has been pretty fucking awesome. But people still looking, they're like, that just reminds me of Sonic 06. It's like, no game's been as bad as 06 since. Why does he have the reputation of horrible games?
That was 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Where the fuck have you been?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Even I'm gonna have to admit this, but even thinking to Sonic Unleashed, where he had the Werehog. The Werehog shit was shit, obviously, but the daytime levels were pretty fucking awesome. But that was a misconception for out
Yeah.
there.
This isn't Shadow Time where you're shooting guns anymore. We've gotten better.
Shadow Time. Another one I'm gonna mention that even though I understand it, it's definitely wrong. Is that when people complain when a game, especially on PlayStation Plus or games, Xbox Live Games of Gold, when they give away a free game, they're like, "But I already bought that. Can I like have money for it or something else?" And it's like, no, you bought it. You or owned it. That's one of the risks you run, especially with a service like PlayStation Plus. Like, it doesn't mean don't buy any games. I know there's also that mentality sometimes, like, why should I buy anything? I'll get them free. But you're not really owed anything if it happens to go free later.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. Like, I bought Payday, and Payday 2 was... I bought Payday 2. A couple of months later, it was on PSN for free. I didn't think Sony owed me anything for it. I was just like, okay, I don't download anything this month. It's not a big deal. But yeah, there is the thing of, but I already have that. You should only give me games I don't have.
Dude, how am I supposed to fucking know? Let's make the entire international store just for this one asshole.
Exactly. It's like, well, I don't have it, so they should cater to me, and you get to shut up. And they're like, that's not how it works. It's like, that's what you're asking, and they're like, no.
As we've gone in depth before now about this one, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Steam Summer Sale is the best thing to happen to video gaming.
Oh yeah.
No. That's like how I blow a bunch of money on fucking games I can't play.
I don't just mean that. That's your own fault.
I know.
Well, what I was referring to that is people are like, yeah, that proves that like Sony and Microsoft and stuff and all this are really bad because they never do sales like this. Yes, because the sales on there, when they do, it's like, let's say you buy, I don't know, Saints Row the 4th for like £3 instead of like £30 or £40 when the game's released. The developer doesn't make the money back on that particular game, and therefore, guess what? They can't fund sequels.
And also, they had to have some sales. Like they had the JRPG sale on the PS4 where like literally shit was 50% off. So they do have sales. Like quite
That was
often.
just for Richter's birthday.
It
It
should
was
have
like
been.
but I actually like found it. I didn't have to remember when Richter's birthday was to like find out when I'm gonna get the game.
You should always remember when Richter's birthday is. It should be a national holiday.
Happy Mech Day.
Yes.
Everybody has to give Richter a birthday cake in a mech suit.
There's probably actually a National Mech Day, I'm betting. There's a Talk Like a Pirate Day. Might as well have one. Robot Day.
There is a Talk Like a Pirate Day.
For
Wait, what if
Richter's,
the cake was also a mech? Like the
for
cake.
Richter's birthday, we need to have someone in a giant mech that looks like Richter's head. Richter's body and stuff, obviously, not just a head. We need to have one that looks like a giant mech that looks like Richter, with Richter inside it, stamping on Carrot Top.
I'd pay money to see that.
As he's pulling out some hilarious prop.
It's a big bullseye, so you know where to step. It's a big shoe print.
Yeah. You're making me crazy.
Ah. Oh snap!
But any other misconceptions you can think of recently, Stace? Or Rick?
Yeah, here's one that I've had for like a lot of games. Usually, I'm opening up to it, but a lot of times I thought, oh, it's a shooter, I'm not gonna like it. Every single shooter is the same ever, like, which is not true, like at all. Like any game that involves like pretty much just not like saying involves a gun, but any game that's generally I don't know could be possibly considered a shooter is like everything is Call of Duty.
Yep.
Everything with a gun is Call of
Yeah.
Duty, and that's not the case at all. Like, there's a lot of like shooting in Payday, and that's not like Call of Duty, and it's really fun. There's like the rail shooter with like the zombies that my friend has. It's only on like Wii and other like last gen things,
Yep.
but that's really fun. Like, not every game with the gun is a shooter like Call of Duty.
Yeah, that is a bad misconception. But as like Victor's mentioned before, now with some of them, I can understand that one because it's like the misconception everyone has where comic books are just superheroes. It's just because the
Yeah.
biggest ones are superheroes. It's like the biggest first-person shooters, the ones that make the biggest shooters that make the most money every year, is Call of Duty and Battlefield. Which means people look at those ones, the predominantly the Halos, the Battlefields, the Call of Duties, and that's the one people think all shooters are like.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion.
Well, the same is also true for RPGs. A lot of people are like, oh, all Japanese RPGs are the same. It's like, no.
No, some involve tentacle rape.
Yeah. They need to have one like that.
Well, tentacle rape and also a children's game.
Although, admittedly, turn-based tentacle rape is not as fun.
That needs to be a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing though, where people are like, all JRPGs are Final Fantasy. Although I'll admit, I've even fallen into that one before now. When I look at them, I'm like, that looks like Final Fantasy gameplay. Though, admittedly, Final Fantasy and gameplay now don't exactly go hand in hand.
I think if they were all like Final Fantasy, we wouldn't have any JRPGs. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
if they all were like that, they'd be like, yeah, it would have ended a while ago.
Probably.
It'd be like, remember JRPGs? Those used to be a thing till they were extinct.
Oh, and I will say, I watched a video today on... Oh, damn, I forgot the site, but someone was talking about it on one of the gaming sites. I did find something interesting to do with a follow-up to what we discussed last week, Rick, when we mentioned Capcom being purchased.
Oh, uh-huh.
It's impossible for Microsoft to purchase them.
Oh, really?
Because in Japan, there's a rule or a law that says no outside company can purchase them. So Sony and Nintendo can, but Microsoft can't because they're an American-based company.
Gotcha. That's
Fun little fact. I only just found that out. I was like, oh, okay. Doesn't affect either one we wanted. I wanted Nintendo, you wanted Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco, whichever one their name is.
Yeah. Bamco. But it means EA and Activision can't get them then too, right? Correct?
Correct. Well, I actually believe EA is a Japanese company, because I believe EA translates to, it's in the game.
My sister used to thought that EA was just for her because those are literally her initials. She's like, it's a game for me. It's mine. See, they made it after me. I'm like, no, they didn't name it after you. Sorry, Elise.
Nice.
So she kept buying those games. Like, these aren't very good. These aren't really like games that I like. Why do they name it after me if it's not my like type of game? Like, I don't get it. They don't know me at all.
Nice. I assume she was younger, but
yeah, she was younger. She was like 6 at the time or something. But it was just funny.
I would have laughed if she's like, "No, it was last week."
Yeah.
No, my God, that'd be terrible.
Another misconception is that PS3 and 360 graphics are bad.
True.
The only reason I say that is the Transformers game, and I know we're going back to that, looks like a PS3 and 360 game. And people are like, whoa, it's got last gen graphics, that makes it shit. To which I say, it doesn't matter what the graphics are like. MMOs don't have the best graphics, but they're great because of the gameplay. It's like, I will go back and I will play Super Mario on the NES, or Super Mario 2, or Super Mario 3, or the original Sonics, way fucking before I'll go and play some shit like, I don't know, like some of the recent games like Bomberman Act Zero.
Play some freaking Chrono Trigger, man. Yeah.
Or Mario Sunshine.
Oh, Mario Sunshine's fucking amazing. You should play that just because it's amazing.
If you play that, you'll love Spirit Tracks.
I hate you so much. I want you to die. And I also want there to be kittens. Kittens are going to eat your corpse.
Joke's on them, I have hepatitis.
Jokes on them, I have feline needs.
Yes. I have
feline AIDS. I don't think a non-feline can get feline AIDS.
I don't know. I don't even know if you could transmit it by eating something.
I'm just imagining you have to get raped by a cat to get feline AIDS.
And if anyone's watching this live and they just come on and they're like, oh, cool, video game discussion, raped by cats and getting AIDS. I'm like, what the fuck game is this?
It's
the answer is Watch Dogs.
There you go. Because everybody wants to play,
misconception you want to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
All sandbox games are GTA.
That's true.
They may have popularized the genre, but it's like Mario popularized platformers. There's a difference between Sonic and Mario, or Raymond and Mario, or fucking Spyro and Mario and shit. There's a big difference. Same thing with like Doom popularized first-person shooters. However, there's a difference between Doom and Call of Duty, which means GTA may have popularized the open-world sandbox in our lifetimes, but just because a game is a sandbox does not mean it's GTA. Because I've seen so many people say stuff like, oh yeah, Spider-Man 2 is awesome, it's GTA with Spider-Man. It's like, no, it's just a sandbox with Spider-Man. Nowhere did he steal cars, run over a prostitute, or anything like that.
Leave that to Captain America.
Now, I'll agree with the comparisons between games like Saints Row and GTA, yes. But say, like, Crackdown is not GTA with a jetpack.
No.
I don't know if that's a misconception everyone agrees with, but that is one I always find where if it's an open world sandbox, someone at some point has to mention GTA.
Yeah.
I can understand if like I said, for Saints Row, Just Cause, or Watch Dogs, because they're more in the same genre of like the same shooting and stuff. But I don't understand it for fucking like like I mentioned, like the Spider-Mans or the fucking open world ended games or like the Lego
Like,
games and
like
stuff.
Prototype or something. It's Grand Theft Auto with mutants. Like, no.
Yeah.
Just because you
Infamous.
can roam around a city does not make it Grand Theft Auto.
No. Like I'm sure there was probably a sandbox game before GTA. I'm pretty sure there was probably a third person view sandbox game before GTA.
Probably.
I'll just throw that one out there. But any other ones for you, Rick?
Yeah, one I could think of, and I'm not sure a lot of people would agree with it, is that and this isn't a blanket one, but the misconception that if they release DLC really close to when a game comes out, that should have been in the game. Yes, I think a lot of times they do take out content and stuff, but a lot of times when a game is finished, and they go gold and actually print the discs and stuff, there's like a month wait. So that's plenty of time to actually make something. So, and I think that a lot of times it's definitely a bad move. I still feel that because of the and because of the perception of it, but I still think it's a bit of a misconception that if DLC comes out really quickly, that like that could have been in there, or it should have, or something like that.
I will say that is a misconception I normally have with DLC.
Oh
But
yeah,
in my defense, a lot of times it's because I understand, like you said, there's normally a month behind. But why the fuck, like with the wrestling game, do they announce it 3 months before the game comes out?
Oh no, there's definitely instances where they do it, and there's dumb stuff like let's even though it gets a lot of hate, let's go to Street Fighter Cross Tekken where like it's colors. Like what? That was nonsense. No, there's definitely ones that perpetrate the conception of that, and there are some that definitely make it not a misconception, but I think it's a misconception that all of them are like that.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Not all of them will be like that, but it's just unfortunate that there's a load of gaming companies out there that do stuff like before Call of Duty will be announced, they'll already announce the season pass a couple of months beforehand, and with all the content that's in it. It's like, wait, this is out. You must have it ready if you announce. Why?
Yeah.
Admittedly, with the Call of Duty DLC, though, some of it is massive DLC that they've just planned. Yeah. And they're going to be working on later on, but it's an unfortunate time to announce it.
Well, I can also
see they have to for Season Pass.
Yeah, well, with Call of Duty, they know that they're going to sell a lot of it, so they can actually, budget that stuff ahead of time. Where I think some of the more smaller scale games, they don't know if it's going to do better, so they probably shouldn't announce it ahead of time because that looks bad.
Yep.
Timing. It's all about the timing.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Another one to throw out there. Motion controls, voice activation, virtual reality, or anything that's not just a control pad with sticks is inherently a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And awful, and doesn't work.
Because I will remind you, before we had sticks and the control pads like they were, we had the flat control pads. Then we got the sticks. Then we had control pads that vibrate. I don't like the vibrate function, but that doesn't mean it's a gimmick. Some people like that. Motion controls, they've proven that more motion controls can be accurate. They do add a new realm of how to play a game. Same thing with camera controls or voice recognition, unless you're using it really sarcastically, like Rick doing Mass Effect demos.
You remembered.
I did. I'm not Jim. I listen to what you say. But it's basically a case of people always look at anything that's new now, any type of new peripheral, and they're like, it's just a gimmick. I even heard some people say virtual reality is a gimmick. I'm like, it's putting a virtual reality headset on. I've wanted that since I was a fucking kid. Since I was a kid and we were teased virtual reality in sci-fi shows, and like they had a show on CITV over here called Nightmare where you used to wear a helmet and then kids would tell them go left, 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 and they'd walk and shit. It'd imply it was virtual reality. I don't think it was, because I don't think they had, looking back at the technology and how great it looked, I don't think it was virtual reality. I think the person was just blind and they were leading them through a path. But still, and I've wanted virtual reality. How dare they say virtual reality is a fucking gimmick? It's a gimmick I've wanted, damn it. I don't know if you agree with that one.
Yeah, at least I disagree that because they use gimmick in a negative sense. If that makes sense, because I think a lot of things can be defined as a gimmick, but they use it as a negative thing when it's not necessarily negative.
Oh yeah,
They're just like, oh, that's just a gimmick. They're like trying to dismiss it, trying to belittle it. Like, oh, it's just a gimmick. Like, well, no, it's something different, but it's not necessarily bad.
yeah. That's what I meant when they say
Yeah.
gimmick, as in a forced gimmick. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not a gimmick. They're trying something new. If it carries on and they keep making more, it won't become a gimmick. It will
Yeah.
become a
Exactly.
staple.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like analog sticks when they first added those, like, oh, what is this nonsense? And now they're standard to have 3 freaking way 2 sticks and a control pad on it now. But yes, yeah, people definitely do try to blanket all that stuff like, oh, motion controls, that's just a gimmick. Like, well, no, sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. It's like, well, I mean, games. There are some games that don't work, and some that do. So it's not, just having motion controls. Definitely, it doesn't make it bad, as
Yeah.
conception goes. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like with when Wii U launched and people like looking at the gamepad and being like, that's just a gimmick. But I'm sorry, playing games off TV, if you've got more than one person in your house who wants to watch the TV, and you got the games on that system, that's a bonus. And the
Yeah.
touch stuff actually does add a lot for like inventory and other stuff.
Yep.
Or
Plus
all your
like the
wrestling
camera
people
and some
have
of the
like
other stuff.
gimmicks and stuff, and like those aren't like bad.
Wait, what was that, Stace?
I said all your wrestler people have gimmicks too, and like that doesn't mean they're necessarily bad.
That's used in a different way. Like, when we say gimmicks on wrestling, we mean character, basically. Like, that's their thing. Like, Batman's gimmick is moping in the shadows. Or Superman's gimmick is being a dick out of context.
Or Jeff's gimmick is just being unnecessarily angry by things.
Yes. And loud.
Don't say that, you'll anger him. But no.
Yeah, there's a misconception that the targeting is always goddamned.
Yeah. And how about you, Stace? Did you have any other gimmicks, any other misconceptions? Good talk.
I was gonna say that all DLC is bad. Because I know a lot of people who think like that. Not like that are just
I can
being
agree
really
with that.
time, but like all the DLC is not necessarily needed. Like, there's no need for it. You already bought the game. I never want to pay anything ever. Like after I buy it in the store.
I can agree with that, but that also the reason why I can agree with that, and the reason I see it as a misconception, is goes into what Richter said before about my problem with DLC is a lot of the time I'm like, you could have put this in the actual game. If you held off on this, but I understand not all of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, I know people who are like pissed that other stuff comes out for it, like a year later. It's like, why couldn't you just like, delay the game a year and like put this in there? I'm like, what? No, why? What the fuck would you say that? Just for this little thing? I mean, it's cool that like you have like new stuff or whatever, and they're putting out new stuff, but I wouldn't want them to delay the game a year just for like a freaking like side mission or something like that,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just think that once you make the game, you can never ever add anything to it ever. Like that's it. You're done. You're cut off.
I can agree with that. Now I will say I did wish more games on consoles did the PC element, and yes, I'm gonna give PC gamers a prop right here. If you're listening right now, with your little sticky fat fingers with your KFC and Dorito stains all over them, then listen up. It's only gonna happen once.
Can you possibly speak like an Aussie?
Yeah, the compliment is that when it comes to PC games, like when you buy The Sims, I love the fact you can go out to the shop and buy The Sims Nightlife on a disc, pop that in and install it. I wish we could do that with a load of DLC, like they actually did expansion packs for games properly on consoles, if that makes sense, in the same way as PC.
Yeah, only like Bethesda.
And I do realise I was insulting PC gamers out the ass, and for no reason. I'm going to apologise.
And it's fun. It's all in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll apologize. I only did that for comic relief or comic effect. I do have another misconception though, which
Mhm.
a load of people, some of which we play with, have. If you lose a video game, it does not mean it's the game's fault, or it does not mean it's the online server's fault.
Sometimes you just suck.
Yep.
Because I hate that. Because that's not necessarily a misconception. That might just be I don't know, negative thing in just general. But I hate it where, like, let's say I'm against Richter on the wrestling. If I beat Richter, he will turn around and most of the time he'll say, okay, that was a good game or whatever, and I'll do the same if he beats me, if that ever happens. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. If that happens, I would do the same thing. Same thing with like Mario Kart on when we play Mario Kart states. When I lost to when you beat me and when I beat you, yeah, okay. When I won, we did whenever either one of us won, we did the dickish let's take the piss because we won thing. But when we lost, neither one of us blamed the game.
Yeah.
In terms of the things, like I've seen people lose before now and they've been like, oh, I only lost because the controls didn't work, or oh, I only lost because I swear I was right there on the kick out meter on the wrestling. It's like, no, sometimes you lose because the other person is better. Accept that.
I don't know if Mario Kart 8 is the best example though.
Yeah,
Just because like the blue shell and stuff. I mean, there's definitely times where the player will lose, but I think that since that is rubber banding, I can see blaming over some other games.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
can
you
definitely
can't
see
always
that.
blame the game.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I
you
just
just
used
do
that as
that.
an example of when we played. Neither one of us blamed the
Yeah.
game when we lost, but you've seen how many times have you seen that? Like, if you like, let's say if you win at if you win at say Mortal Kombat, someone will always turn around and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you only won because you memorized the moves and learned how to play that character." Yes, yes, I did.
Actually bother to learn the game.
Yeah, I don't know
Try
why
that.
that's a negative thing.
I want that to be in real life. Like, I want when a football team or baseball team, whatever, loses, I want them to be like, it's only because the outfield was a little slanted here, or it's only because the ball was an odd shape, so it went a different trajectory. Like, I just want to see their like, oh, it's only because of my glove lag, and people are just like, what?
You only won because every time we went to bat, the wind changed to go towards us.
You only won because you have the better DLC, and they're like, what?
Yeah, you only win because you have more African Americans. Sorry, no. That one would be offensive. I'm kidding with that. But it's a case of, yeah, I wish people would, people don't need to do that in real life, but you know exactly what I'm about. Whenever someone loses on video games, a lot of times, and I don't just mean particularly just the ones we play with, I've seen this online in general, of people turn into really like, oh yeah, it's the game. It's so fucking broken. How did this even pass beta like this? And it's like, it's not broken. Okay, it's broken, yeah. Or part of it may have glitches on some games, yeah. But it's not broken every time, because you'll notice if they win, suddenly there's no fault in the game.
Yeah.
That's when you're just a cop.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely a passing of the buck of whose fault it is. And admittedly, there are occasional times where, it's the game where something is broken. But like you said, yeah, if they win, they're not like, oh, it's broken. They're like, hey, look at how good we are. And it's like, wait, you can't. The game can't be cheating you, and then you're good when you beat it. If it's either messed up or it's not.
I do agree sometimes, like let's say I was in a shooting game with Richter, let's say, and I pulled out a sniper. Yeah, it is likely that when I go to pull the trigger, I know the game could lag and I could miss and somebody's like over across the other side of the map. Yes, that would be an instance of it being a game. But if like Richter snipes me in the face and I was stood there, I can't just be like, ah, that's unfair. It was the game's fault. You only managed to kill me because I'm not bulletproof.
Also, they mistake bad luck for that they got cheated. Yeah, like sometimes you throw a grenade over a building, and sometimes you just happen to be running there. No, the guy didn't know that. He's not a miracle guy. He didn't cheat. You just got unlucky and ran where he happened to throw a grenade. It just happened. It's not that you're terrible or that guy's amazing or that he's cheating. Just sometimes shit happens.
I will say yes. That unfortunately, again, that one would be a bad example because on most first-person shooters like Call of Duty and stuff, I've seen it before now. Even Crispy's seen it. And they're like, how the fuck where you've seen the guy stood still and he's moved, his head and his body's literally moved at the gun out,
Yeah.
following you through the fucking walls till you come
Yeah.
out. It's like, how can you see through the wall?
Well, yeah, there's definitely cheating, but I'm thinking, more random stuff, like sometimes when somebody
Yeah.
chucks a knife across the map or like throws a grenade around a corner and they just
Yeah.
you're there. They don't necessarily know you're cheating. Yeah, there are definitely sometimes where they'll just, your head is visible and they're like, pew, and they snap up and like shoot it, and you're like, no, you couldn't do that. But
Yeah.
sometimes there's just, like, even like with Payday. Like there are sometimes where we do the mission and sometimes they send bulldozers, even if it's the same difficulty as we did before. Sometimes we just have bad luck, and it happens to have 3 guys come in one door and we don't see them, or they come up
That's
behind
Davy's
us.
fault.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, like sometimes it just random crap happens, and
Yeah.
not the fault of the game necessarily. It's not the fault of like no one's cheating. Just sometimes bad luck happens.
Yeah, like it wasn't the game's fault of Payday that I blew up Crispy in the meth lab twice.
Oh.
That was my own fault. But yeah, I always see that if it's like the game's fault. No, and it's like no. Sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes like people will get like a tiny bit of like 2-second lag, and they will make out like it was affecting them throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
That's just bad sportsmanship, in my opinion. I like gamers who have. I like playing. I like one of my favorite people to play games with, like I mentioned, is you, Rick, because you've got more the attitude of, shit happens. It's a good. It's as long as it's fun. Who gives?
Yeah. Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all the misconceptions I thought of so far. So, did anyone else have any other ones?
How about older equals better?
I thought
Yeah, a lot of people say older equals worse, or at least that's what a lot of people. That's what at least my sister says all the time. She's like, "That's an old game," and I'm like, "Yeah, just because it's an old game doesn't mean it's instantly bad."
I don't mean that. I mean, like, let's say Call of Duty comes out now, Advanced Warfare.
Oh,
There's going to be some people that say like the previous game was the best in the series. Or like the new Mario. Someone will be like, "No, this Mario was inherently the best one in the series." It's like, no, and being older doesn't necessarily make it. And they're like, "Yeah, of course it was better. Look, it came first." It's like, no, that's more mixing nostalgia glasses with what was good, if that makes sense.
I honestly thought you meant people. I was like, well, yeah, when you get older, your reaction time goes down, but I wouldn't think that inherently makes you terrible. And then Stacey started mentioning games. I'm like, oh, older. I got it now. I'm an idiot, but okay.
Yeah, I wasn't just insulting you randomly. Yeah, you're older. You suck.
I was like, well, yeah, a 15-year-old's going to be better at Call of Duty, but I'm pretty sure I could beat him at other stuff.
Although I will say, as much as we talk about gimmicks and stuff, which is fair enough, and they're not all gimmicks. However, I will say, if you are over the age of 27, I'm like me. I'm 28. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go 26. If you're over the age of 25, let's say 25, type round number. If you're over the age of 25, you cannot play Just Dance, Dance Dance Revolution, or anything inherently like that because you look like an idiot. Now, I can understand maybe you'll play the tennis game of and stuff, the tennis or Wii Motions or something. Cool. But when you're doing, oh yeah, look how cool I am, and you're dancing, it's like, no. You're too old to do that.
I do those in my house where no one can see.
I was gonna say those are the type of games my parents play. They only play the dance games. It's not that like, they play other games.
I will remind you, your family contains a girl that for EA means the games were made for her and you. It's not known for its intelligence. Or its sense of shame.
And my parents keep yelling at me, "Why did you change the Google? The Google was fine how it was. Why do you keep changing the image?" I'm like, "I don't change the image."
Changed it to say Bing.
But I swear, man, that was like last week. My mom keeps yelling, "Stop touching my computer!" I don't like it. working all the time.
That's a misconception.
Uh-huh.
Video game companies are inherently evil.
That's true.
The reason I'm going to
That's
say that is because how many times have you heard
Except
people say
Capcom?
like Microsoft in general are evil? It's like, no, it's Microsoft, they're evil. It's like they're not evil. They are a company which wishes to make a profit. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. That is it. That is its only purpose. It's like
Yeah.
Capcom. As much as they've made stupid decisions I don't agree with, like DMC or Resident Evil, they're not evil.
Yeah.
They're just misguided or stupid in terms of some of their business strategies, but they're not evil. It's not like fucking you're gonna go to Capcom and find the leader of Capcom dressed like M. Bison stroking a cat going, yes, we will change Dante. The gamers will cry, oh yes, they're delicious tears.
They're like, they have like human slaves tied up and they're like draining blood out of them to somehow make games. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Do you want us to release the new 2D Mega Man yet? No, not yet. They haven't begged enough. Then when they beg, no matter what, when we release it, it's going to be inherently in shit, possibly, but they won't care. They'll just be like, oh my god, you finally remembered Mega Man, and they'll be going, nom, 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 nom. It's so delicious. But not like that. Yeah. It's like people, it's like I honestly believe some gamers think like if you stepped inside the Microsoft office, there would be cat heads on pikes and fucking like naked boys being whipped and shit like that.
Pentagrams drawn in like goat blood on the wall.
Or while Connect records it for their own amusement. It's like, no, they're not evil. It's like EA aren't evil, besides they're misguided and they've done some stupid decisions. For example, the college basketball bit of football thing. But they're not evil, they just want to make a profit.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yes, it's all about the money. It's like that's the other misconception, not the money, but Nintendo is only for children.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Not only is that a misconception, it's almost 90% inaccurate too, because like we mentioned before now, when they did polls a while back, most of the people that own Nintendo systems and played Nintendo exclusive games were over the age of like 20 or something, or over the age of like 20 or 30 or something. It was like older people like them, but everyone's like, nah, they're just for kids. Give us our shooters, which were predominantly actually bought mainly by people age, I think it was 13 to 24 at one point. Now they've spread out more, but predominantly the most defining age group was that. It's like, that's more kiddie than that.
Well, that's what's funny is that because the kids are like, oh, what are older people playing? Shooters. That's the conception. I'm going to buy shooters, so I'm like older and cooler. And then the older people aren't playing as much shooters as the younger people because the younger people think that's what's cool. So actually the younger people aren't playing Nintendo because it's not perceived of as cool. But it's still somehow a kiddie system. I don't know how that works.
What we now need, I've got a great game that will help change America for the better. And I know you're a long-time listener, but if you're listening, Obama, do this. Get a famous rapper, the likes of 50 Cent or P. Diddy, P. Doddy, P. whatever the fuck his name is this time. Get a famous rapper like that, dress them up, have them rapping about how, yo, the alphabet is dope, yo, mathematics is awesome. And then have them feature mathematics and shit, and then put the age title as 18. And I guarantee you, kids will be like, I shouldn't be buying this. And they will buy it, and they will learn stuff.
There you go.
You're welcome. You can have that little idea right there, Obama. Put that in the old back burner, old chum.
You're welcome.
See, me and Obama, we go way back. Way back, so much so we're on first name basis. Just like, I believe Richter is on a first-name basis with Donald Trump.
I am.
And Reggie.
There you go. I found it funny that the only time I ever saw him in person was at PAX.
You saw Reggie at PAX?
Yeah, like 2-3 years ago. I just found it funny because I was like, you know, I worked at Nintendo for 3.5 years and I never saw him once there But at PAX, I saw him walking around.
Did he stop you and go, I remember you. You were the bald worker.
No, that would be hilarious. He's like,
You were
"Wait
the
a
only
minute,
one in
I
our
know
company
you."
without hair. What? Yeah, we hired you to fill a quota.
I wasn't. That's why I did. Yeah, I wish I was the only one there without hair. Job security. No, there was like 3 others. I was the only overweight guy, bald guy with glasses, though. I was that. Yeah.
Fair enough. That would have been awesome if Reggie'd come
What
up
did
to
you do
you
when
at
you were
PAX and just been like, I remember you. You what? I don't remember you. Oh, come on. Back when you worked at Nintendo, I was the mail boy. I used to deliver your letters. You remember me, right, Rick? And you're like, wait, what? And it turns out that was his rise to power.
That'd be awesome. Wow, me getting mail delivered there.
I figured it would be like the US office where people bring paychecks.
Actually, they did, but it wasn't Nintendo that paid us. But yeah, they did have the person come around to give paychecks on.
Did Nintendo at least have the balls to make all of its workers get their paycheck by smacking their head against blocks till money comes out?
That would have been amazing. Oh, now I wish they did that.
But no, I'm done with the misconceptions.
Okay.
I don't know if Pew has any more.
Do you have any more?
Woo!
Okay, it doesn't sound like she does.
Yeah, it doesn't sound okay.
We are out of here, right?
Yes.
So take us away, host.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us for another XGR. Hope you had fun. Hope you maybe learned some things, especially from the news and our discussion. And
My name was Chris, aka the Mole.
that's true.
I realised our names hadn't been brought up yet.
Oh,
My
that's
name was
true.
Chris, aka the Mole.
And Anastasia Laserbeam. Pew pew.
Don't name her. We're not going to keep her. Don't name her.
Oh, okay.
It only humanizes her.
Oh my god.
Follow the podcast. Can I keep it? And I was your host, Victor Hammer. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.